On Harland Williams, good to see you, man. Appreciate you being all giving you a fist. Are you, I've seen you fist bump everybody. Are you one of those that doesn't like to shake hands or health reasons?
Well, we've got the new kind of measles outbreak, right? And then we had the Ebola that came by in the summer.
And you travel a lot.
And I travel a lot, but the Ebola thing was good in a way because I feel like it was a warning shot that we just got little touches of it. But it's an early warning shot, and we have to come up with a system to warn people if it ever comes again, and I think I came up with it.
What do you got?
What we do is we got to find the highest point of elevation in every city and town in America.
Okay.
We put a guy up on the hill with leather shorts, and he's like, Ebola.
That's right up there. The citrus tower in Lake County. That guy's coming to there to warn us all.
Some leather shirt. He's got that giant hash pipe or whatever he's smoking. I don't know what that
thing, by the way.
What is that giant
You travel
thing?
a lot. Have you ever seen one of those out there anywhere?
I saw one in Switzerland once.
Oh, did you?
But it just looks like a long, giant, weed bong or something. You wouldn't know what that is, but your listeners would.
We've done stories on those. Hey, okay, I have to ask you about a song. There's a song out there about you. It's called Harland Williams, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, did you know the guy was putting together a song about you, and how did that whole thing come about?
The artist that did it, his name's Perry Gripp, and he's the guy that wrote the theme for Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and he's a seasoned professional musician. And I was walking into a radio station one day to do an interview, and they played this song, and I thought the DJs threw it together. And I go, thanks, guys. And they go, we didn't do it. Perry Gripp did it. And so he wrote a song about me, and it's this crazy rock and roll tune. I love it.
Is that a good thing, or is that kind of creepy? You're like, why does this guy like me so much?
I know. No.
Have you met him?
I have met him. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I actually bumped into him.
Outside your window?
Yeah, outside my, he was standing in the garden with binoculars. Hey, come on in for French toast. No, yeah, I bumped into him recently, and great guy. So he was just a fan of my work, and he wrote a song about me. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm looking over your work here, man. I mean, the Wikipedia page goes back to 1994. Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
Right. Was that your first?
That was the very first movie. Yeah. I couldn't believe it, and I was kind of new to Hollywood, and you get a script and you read it, and you have no idea how it's going to turn out, and it turns out my first movie was this amazing cult classic, so I was really lucky.
I love the role, State Trooper.
Yeah.
But you've played cop in like 20 of your movies here.
Yeah.
Policeman, cop, Sheriff Roscoe P. Coltrane. That's a good one, too.
Yeah, Dukes
Why do you always play the cop role?
I don't know, man. It's just maybe my goofy face. They like to juxtapose my goofiness against the seriousness of a cop. I got this thing going. Do you have one of these? It's like... It's called a waddle, I think. Have you got you got a waddle?
I'm getting there, yeah.
I shaved my waddle this morning just to be on the show.
Thank you for taking the effort.
Look at that.
Hey, that's very nice.
I went to SeaWorld. They kicked me out for swallowing a salmon whole.
That's good. That's very good. Hey, I also see you do tons of voice work.
Yeah.
Why the voice work? Do you like doing voice work? Or is that just weird being in a studio trying to recreate a scene by yourself?
No, it's fun. I mean, I do. There's a show called Annoying Orange. I do like 8 voices on that show.
I love Annoying Orange.
Yeah, I do a bunch of voices on that. I do a show on Nickelodeon called Robot and Monster. I do the voice of Monster, and it's just fun. Animation is so imaginative, and the scripts and the storylines are so wacky and weird. It's just a blast. I love doing stuff for kids. Do you have kids?
I do, and that's how I know Annoying Orange and some of your other finest work.
Oh, cool. Now, let me ask you this. You have kids. Do you ever have trouble getting a babysitter?
Yeah, once in a while.
Here's what you do, because kids, kids usually don't get much bigger than this, kids. If you can't get a babysitter and you got to get out to a picnic or some kind of social function, you can't get a babysitter, this is what you do. Pick up the kid, run outside, throw them in a spider web.
And it works.
Oh, they're there till you get home.
And we have spiders as big as kids down here in Florida, so that'll work.
Oh, yeah, the spiders will wrap them up, keep them warm. It's like a little cocoon.
That's nice.
It's like putting them in a sleeping bag for the day.
But how do you keep the voices straight? When you do Annoying Orange, you go back in, do you have to think, okay, I'm this guy this time, or something? Madagascar, you've been in all these. How do you keep the voices straight and know you're doing the same thing time and time again?
You know what? That's the job of the director, because sometimes you get a little loopy, when you're in a studio all day and you're just talking into a microphone. There's times where you can slip out of it. So you got your directors there, and they're like, whoa, dude, what are you doing? get back on it. So,
you know, like Madagascar too, Escape from Africa. You were what, giraffe in that
I was one of the giraffes, and then I was in Meet the Robinsons. I was the little boy's sidekick, the robot, and you know, in the movie Robots, I was Lug, the big green robot. Yeah, I love it. Voice work is a riot.
You know, every time we have comedians in, though, I ask them one question: why stick with stand-up?
Yeah.
And they always have the same answer. You know, it's my first love. You've got all this going on.
Yeah.
Is it the same story for you? Is it just a passion you have, or you got to keep fresh, or what is it?
It's weird. I'm a bit of a medium addict. Like I love the world of arts, and so I always wanted to do it all. I thought I'll start in stand-up. That'll be like my backbone. And voiceover and movies and commercials and sitcoms, that'll be like the rib. So everything kind of grows off of the stand-up. And that's how I envisioned it, and that's how it's kind of worked out for me.
But stand-up is the hardest, right? I mean, it's tough.
It's super hard. I mean, everyone will tell you in the entertainment industry, it's probably the hardest because you're just alone. You're alone up there, you're vulnerable, and you know, the concept of making someone laugh for 2 minutes, let alone, you know, I do almost an hour show every night to keep people not only laughing, but at a high elevation of laughter. You know, there's kind of the chuckling laughter, and then there's the big guffaw laughter. And when you're headlining, you gotta have it up here, man. So people say to me after the show, you want to go hang out? And I go, no, I'm exhausted. And they're like, what are you talking about? I said, do you know how much mental energy it takes to keep people laughing at this level for an hour? It's draining. And I do 2 shows a night sometimes, so it's like, whoa.
You're worn out.
Yeah.
How has your act changed over the years? And I say that, well, let me set up with this, because when you first started, no one knew who Harland Williams was, right?
Of course not,
now you have a name. Is it harder having a name because the bar is set higher, or is it easier because at least you get people in who know some of your work and they'll laugh along?
It's a little bit of both. It can be easier on one level because people are familiar with your work and they kind of already go, you're like a brand. You're like, oh, we've seen that guy already. We already know he's funny. So they'll give you a little bit of leeway. I say it's like the 5-minute rule. When you walk out on stage, they'll give you that first 5 minutes. You could say, oh, my grandmother's psoriasis flared up, and they'll go nuts, even if it's not funny, right? But after that 5 minutes, it's like you've got to have the writing, you've got to have the timing, you've got to have the show, and you know, you're always under that kind of scrutiny. So it's a little bit of both, but I always like to reinvent myself, come up with new stuff, go out on the edge, try different things. So it's always like a work in progress.
But what do you do when it's not working, right? You're past that 5 minutes and people are just sitting there with that blank look like, what do you got for me now? Is there something you go back? Do you have something in your wheelhouse where you say, I'm going back to the fill in the blank joke?
You know, when I first started and I was inexperienced, I used to panic. I used to get very scared, and it was an empty feeling. It's like you're dying. And now I actually embrace if it's not working. I actually kind of just go with it and I acknowledge it to the crowd. I'll go, oh guys, I'm dying up here. And once you kind of talk about it, and let them in, and they know that you know that you're bombing, it kind of changes the mood, and they kind of start to feel a different way, and you can kind of show them that you're vulnerable, and they'll kind of like, I think they'll kind of lighten up, and it lightens the mood, and you can kind of build it back up with them. But it's very interesting up on that stage when you're bombing.
All right, you're in town for a couple of nights. Yeah. Tell us just very particular the basics about the show tonight.
Basically, expect the unexpected. That's what I do with my shows. I talk about a whole myriad of topics, concepts, but people always say after my show they never knew what was coming next. So I like to keep people on the edge of their seat. I like to surprise them. And I'm a comic that really likes to talk with the crowd and engage with the crowd. I like to ask them what's going on in their life, what they do. You know, I had a guy the other day, I said, what do you do, sir? He goes, I work in a blast furnace. And I go, how are you even alive? And I said, you're the only guy on earth that could go around killing and murdering and stealing, and when you get to hell, you'll be like, yeah, so? I work in a blast furnace.
I'm good.
Yeah, you know, it's like,
all right, so you can check out his shows. We have the information on our website, myfoxorlando.com, and check out his podcast. You can get that on...
Yeah, the Harland Highway at harlandwilliams.com or iTunes. It's every Monday and Thursday, free, the Harland Highway.
Harland, at risk of getting Ebola, I'll just wave at you, okay? All right. Thanks, Harland.
Ebola.
And scene.